Good afternoon again. This is Attorney Stephen Sabre. You're listening to Law Talk on 1480 WSAR. Our call-in number 508-673-1480. Any calls that are law-related are welcome. The other topic I wanted to talk about, because it was also in the news, and it's more, I guess, more applicable to all of us as we drive around the roads, and the potholes are everywhere, and mostly what we're all doing now is not really watching, well, not watching the cars in front of us, but the road in front of us to make sure that we don't drive into a pothole and wreck our tires. And there was an article in the Fall River Herald News and some follow-up, and there was some comment by Assistant Corporation Counsel Gary Howiak, and there was an opinion in the, or something in the editorial page in the paper, basically seemed to say, well, the city of Fall River ought to be maybe more forthcoming in their payments. But I suppose you can have that policy, but that's really not what the law says. And Attorney Howiak had it right, that the city and the municipalities are not insurers. For example, and by that I think he meant that insurers, if it's a certain kind of coverage, like, for example, collision coverage or comprehensive coverage under your insurance policy, will pay without regard to fault. So we know that in our insurance policies, if we pay for the extra coverage for collision, it's not an issue of who's at fault. The insurance company will pay for your damages. The situation with potholes, and from a legal standpoint, it's called a defect in a public way, is governed by law, governed by statute, and it's not as simple as it might seem that, well, I was driving on the road in Fall River and I hit a pothole and my tire is gone and my rim is gone and I've got, $2,000 worth of damage to my car. Here's the claim, city, pay it. It doesn't work that way. And so there's a certain protocol that has to be followed. One of the parts of the protocol is that you have to report this and make the claim within 30 days of the incident, and you have to be specific as you can about the day it happened, if you can, the time it happened, and of course where it happened. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you have to then go through this really a negligence analysis. So that involves, did the city have notice? And if they didn't have notice, for example, if this pothole just opened up and you sadly just ran right into it, and you were the first one, and that doesn't really show notice. So the city has to have notice. Now, I assume that they have some type of record when people call. So I suppose it's important, if you do see a pothole, to call. It might not help you, but it might help the next person. Then the second or third part of this whole issue is, did the city have enough time to repair it? And did they have a reasonable time to repair? And that goes to, again, this issue of negligence. And so notice and reasonable time to repair. What's a reasonable time to repair? There's nothing in the law books about that. So that ultimately, if it couldn't be agreed to, if there was some dispute, it would have to be decided by a judge or a jury whether or not they had reasonable time to repair it and they didn't do it. That's another factor. And the last factor is the sole cause of the damage has to be this pothole, this defect. And that's important too, because if it's your fault, and I'm not sure how it would necessarily be your fault, but if there was some other mechanism that combined to cause the damage, then that would not be then the pothole, the defect rather, would not be the sole cause. So if I suppose you slid into it because it was ice, well, maybe that's not the sole cause. Now, they all sound kind of technical, and they are, but that's why the city just is not, I think, is just not going to pay every claim that gets filed just because you file a claim. Okay, well, we're going to pay it. If they did that, they would be running out of money pretty quickly, I would think, and more importantly, they would be really doing something that the law doesn't require. So, as a municipality, they're self-insured, right? They're not. There's not an insurance company involved. This is money that is allocated as part of the city budget. So they have to be careful as how they spend it, and so I think that's just a little bit of a maybe hopefully an explanation and a little bit of a warning as far as what you might expect. And if you have coverage under your car, that might be the first way to go. The other issue is, of course, that you should know about is there's a cap on damages in the law as well. So if your car had $7,500 worth of damage, well, best case scenario, the municipality's only liable for up to $5,000 because that's the cap, and that applies not just to the property damage; it applies also to injury. Because oftentimes I'll get calls at the office, someone walking on a sidewalk, and in this winter, the sidewalk, they're lifting up, there's holes, there are gaps, there's all kinds of problems on sidewalks. Someone gets hurt as a result of a defect in a sidewalk. They trip, they roll their ankle in a hole, and they snap it and dislocate it, and they need surgery, and their medical bills are $20,000. Well, there's a cap on damages. So assuming you can prove negligence, you still have this cap of $5,000 no matter how bad you're hurt. And that's important for people to know about, because sometimes they don't understand that, and it's bad news. And on top of it, oftentimes most municipalities don't just go ahead and pay the $5,000. They will fight that, and that's that becomes another difficult part of those kinds of cases. So okay, we have a little bit of time left. Let me tell you how to reach me at the office, which is 508-674-0890. The office is located at 1026 County Street in Somerset. What I specialize in is personal injury cases, serious personal injury cases, workers' compensation, and criminal defense. Attorney Aspen has been with me a long time, handles our matters in Rhode Island, as well as divorce cases in real estate. Again, the number to reach me at the office, 508-674-0890. And the office is very easy to locate in Somerset on Route 138. But every Tuesday, I am here from 1 to 2 p.m. You've been listening to Law Talk on 1480 WSAR.